Now, righty then. Craig Martelle coming to you live from a secret and undisclosed location using a borrowed computer because mine wasn't working exactly right. And this here isn't working exactly right either. It looks like a low signal. So anyway, we'll do what we can. Let me stop the camera and continue on that way. Hopefully we'll get plenty of viewers. All right. Oh, it looks like signal's picking up. Okay, what are we here to talk about today? I'm back after 2 weeks, and I forgot to check the Amazon KENP for July. That should be up. It should be. You should be able to pull it up and do the quick calculation and see what the KENP rate is for July. I forgot to do that. I was busy trying to bring this online. Let me stop the camera. Signal isn't looking good. So pull it up, take a look, see what the calculation is, and drop it in the comments if you get there before I do, and we'll share it. Everybody can see what it is. I'm guessing 0.00438. Just pulling that out of rectal defilade for those who might know what that is. So author priorities. 2 weeks ago, I got kind of fed up with the way the group was working and with the number of questions and almost acerbic type comments. And I decided that I needed to take a break. So I took 2 weeks off and focused on my business. The good news is my revenue increased by about 50% during those 2 weeks because of being able to focus on the business. And I saw how much my business was suffering because of the time I was investing in 20 books to 50K. Now, understand, I don't need to do this for a living. I do it because I like it. And I will continue working with 20 books to 50K because I do like it and I do like giving back. And I want to take care of the good people who are there. Now, with that being said, there's a certain amount of new authors that arrive every single day. Hey, I'm thinking about writing a book. I am writing a book. I've written a book. Now what do I do? And all those questions have been answered, and it's okay to post, but I'm going to let other people answer those questions. I'm going to let other people focus on helping the newcomers. Reach a hand back. If you're farther up the mountain, reaching a hand back doesn't mean you have to go back down to the bottom of the mountain to reach that hand back to help. So I want to stay farther up the mountain and continue climbing. I want to focus my efforts on why would somebody who's making huge amounts, halfway towards 7 figures, want to come in and be a member of 20 books to 50K. And I'll tell you that where I am, last year I made over 300,000 for my books and that was revenue. I spend money like a drunken sailor. So my margin is a little bit lower than that, but it could have been, I figured, about a little over 200 if I controlled my costs like a normal person. So 300 and some thousand. And what's it going to take to get to 7 figures? And that's what the last 2 weeks showed me in regards to engagement with the readership. And that takes time. It takes personal intervention. It's not something that you can necessarily pass down to an executive assistant or a PA or hire out. It really is you. And yes, you can have helpers that help you reach out, do your newsletters and things like that. But still, there's a certain amount of you that has to come out of each of those engagements in order for the readers to say, hey, this is a person I want to follow. These are the books I want to read. And it takes time. And that takes actually a lot of time to make sure that you're connecting with your readership. And one thing I've learned over the last couple years as I've put out a lot of books. I did a lot of co-authored titles in 2019. I put out 30 in the first 30 weeks of 2019, and they sold much, much worse than my own self-titled works. And this was a huge lesson for me in regards to readership. Treat your readers like gold, embrace them, hug them, call them George, and make sure that you deliver what they're expecting, and that will keep them on board. And growing your readership takes that exact same amount of attention to detail, at a micro level, but at the macro level, you're delivering entertainment that these people want. So marrying those two together, it takes a whole effort, a focused effort to write good books, write even better books today than you did yesterday. And I'm actually averaging about 4,000 words a day in the past 2 weeks. I finished one book and I'm 21,000 words into a second book that I really want to have finished before I start the drive across America. All of this stuff, my Patreon, I've increased that with the engagements, and have picked up an additional one-on-one mentee on Patreon for a person to get extra help and focused help. We're a half-hour, 2 half-hour phone calls, and this isn't an advertisement for any of that. I don't care if I don't do that stuff, but the people I do help, I want to give them 100% of my effort. And it looks like we have a signal, so let me go live so you can see my new glasses from Zenni. I also got my eyeballs fixed, which helped the headaches that I was getting from working on the screen for extended periods of time. So I spent a lot of time outside with my dog, and spent a lot of time working on and focusing on specifically my business to grow that business and help, and then for my own mentality of what I need to do moving forward. And 20 Books of 50K needs a captain of the ship, one who steers the ship. And I can't be down in the engine room if we want to keep the ship on the same course, on the right course. So I've got to step back away from that stuff and stay up and drive the train, keep the ship on course, which means the conference, getting the very best speakers we can get, talking about topics that you want to know about in a way that you can internalize. So how do we do all that? And this is something where driving the ship, we've got to make sure that we fill all those gaps and make sure that we give the presentations that you deserve, whether you're in person, virtual, or just watching later when they pop up on YouTube. This morning had a good conversation with Apple. I think Apple will be in attendance if they can. So, and actually they're looking to give a presentation, which will be the first time I've ever been able to get Apple to make a presentation for us in 20 Books to 50K. I think that's a huge coup and a benefit to us. Also, Amazon this week has committed to 2 months of free Kindle Unlimited for every person who attends the author signing ceremony on November 12th in person. So we'll have flyers that we give out, a flyer or a postcard. We haven't determined exactly what that'll look like yet, for every person who shows up. How about that? A little extra enticement. I asked them for a shout out for the show that they would be doing this. So extra things to improve the engagement. So whether you're a new author, never published before, or an author with 100 books out, you can all benefit from this. You can all benefit from a better show, because here are the people who are making the industry do what it needs to do. Here are the industry professionals. Here are the movers and shakers in the industry. It is amazing because Apple, I hadn't reached out to them because I thought they were going to shut down, just like Amazon did. Amazon is not coming in person. However, they're offering KU, and they're going to provide 3 presentations. We're going to set up one of the conference rooms as a remote presentation facility where they can come in, they can remote in. So you'll see them on the screen, you'll see their presentation, they'll be able to see you. And so when you come up and ask questions, they're going to answer questions live. Now, Amazon asks that we not record them. So if you want to watch Amazon's presentations on KDP, Vela, and Goodreads, then you need to do it in person, because we're not recording those presentations at their request, because they said the material could change and they don't want it memorialized forever in its current form, because it could change a month down the road. So Amazon, Apple, Jonathan Mayberry had to pull out for health reasons, and but he's giving all his presentations. So you see that I moved him to Bronze 1, and that's where he's going to give those presentations remotely. Same thing. You'll see him on the screen. You'll see his slides. He'll see you, so you can work interactively. Okay, I thought that was somebody messaging me saying, wow, we can't hear you. What? I've been at this for a half hour. I did that once. I made it 35 minutes into a presentation with no voice. How about that, huh? Yeah. So we're going to have some people in. Most of the people will be there in person. Vegas, it's going to be what it is, whatever they have at the time. So we need to make sure that Vegas, we find out from Vegas what are their rules come November. So no sense mentally masturbating over it now, because it's going to change. Come November 4th, when I get there, I'll figure it out, and I'll post and say, hey, here's what it is. Bring your mask collection, or make sure you got your shot card, or whatever it might be for whatever they're doing. I don't know. I'm not saying bring your shot card and show it. It's just whatever the rules are, that's what we'll follow at the time. I'm not going to make anything stricter, less strict. Just understand, we'll go with whatever the Vegas rules are, because Caesars is responsible. Caesars is responsible for everything that goes on in their hotels. So they're going to do the right thing by Caesars, and Vegas will do the right thing by their casinos. But getting the right speakers in, Apple reached out of the blue to saying, hey, oh, by the way, is this still on? And so many other people, especially over these last couple of weeks, just reached out and said, hey, is the conference still going? And what are we doing? How can we get in on it? I'm going to NINC in I say 3 weeks. I leave in less than 3 weeks to go and start that drive across America and end at NINC. And at NINC, we're going to have Book Brushes there, along with a number of other folks that I would like to see in Vegas. So hopefully I'll be able to convince them, come on to Vegas. We got space. Come on and be a vendor. Join us in Vegas and get the heavy hitters. I think Plotter is coming, and let's see what Ryan Z has to say about Plotter, and has to say to you about plotting and all that stuff that matters that you might need. If you're a pantser, hey, no big deal. But if you're a plotter, hey, maybe Plotter, Plottr, is the right thing for you. You don't know. Vegas, you can get exposed to all of that at no cost, at no additional cost. You don't have to buy it. You can see it. You can see it work. You can talk to other people who use it. You can talk to the designer of it, the purveyor of it, and find out what's going on. You can talk to John Truby about his techniques for side plots, subplots, and main plots, his techniques for character development. You can talk to David Weber about building the Honorverse. So many people come into Vegas, and this is the one thing, driving the ship. This is the one thing that I can bring to all of you and help everybody at the same time, in a way that I'm not focusing on and spending time on helping people with their passwords or getting into Eventee. So next year, I have already hired an assistant for next year to take care of all of that. And this will be a paid employee of the conference, because it's at the point where we can't do it with all volunteers. So we're going to pay somebody to handle all these emails, handle those nitnoid details, handle a lot of the presentation of the conference to the world, like our website. It's okay. But if we're looking at trying to get 2,500 people to the show, we've got 1,800 for this year. But if we've got 2,500 people coming to the show, how are we going to make that good for everybody and making it work for everybody? We need somebody there focused on this is what you do, and not trying to also write books, and not trying to also shepherd a group of 52,000 people through the shark-infested waters of being a professional author. So raising that level of professionalism for 20 books to 50K. I don't care if you're just thinking about writing a book. That's fine. At one point in time, I wanted to be a CEO. I'm like, I can do this. I want to be the CEO. Well, I didn't go to a conference where all of these CEOs are there and then come walking in and say, hey, I want to be a CEO. I'm a new guy. Come on, everybody help me. That's not how it works. It's stand by, listen to them, find out what's important to them, and see if there's an overlap. Hey, that's important to me too. So let's take a look at that. Let's talk about that. And here's something I did to move that forward. And this is one thing. This is why six-figure authors are members of 20 books to 50K, because people try all different kinds of things, and some of them work. Look at TikTok. Hey, you're giving all your data to China, and you look at it, and some people are making huge amounts of money because of book sales solely because of their TikTok presence. Think about that. Think about Instagram, Bookstagram. whatever other methods that might come along for us technological dinosaurs. I had a computer in 1982, so don't call me a dinosaur, except I still remember how that one works. So yes, I'm a dinosaur. There's new stuff out there. There's new ways to reach readers. Are you doing that? Are you taking advantage of that? And this is where our six-figure authors who have been stalwarts through the years, they can learn and say, hey, this might be a whole new audience for me. Imagine that. I can take my 10,000 readers that have had stalwart for years and double it to 20,000 if only I made some videos on TikTok about world building or those kinds of things. Yes, conference is still open for signups. We got plenty of room. Plenty of room. Like I said, I'm geared for 2,500. I'm expecting, I really want 2,000. We've got 1,800. So yeah, there's a lot of room. Conference is going to be open for signups probably right up into the day of the show. But September 30th is the cutoff for signing up and then also being able to request a refund. So at this point in time, we're in the black. I'm happy to report the conference is in the black. And we're starting to build up enough money in the kitty that people first come, first served on for those who canceled and requested refunds. We'll look at what kind of money we'll have in the pot after it's all said and done in order to issue refunds. I want to give 100%, of course, because you trusted us with your money. And also, we're patient enough to wait until after the show, make sure our costs were covered. And then, so I really do want to give refunds to everybody who's requested them. But understand, the show, my exposure was $500,000 that I signed off on, saying, "Hey, $500,000, I'll sign for that." And that's my house. I put my house on the line for this show. Now, I had a lot of confidence that everybody would come through and we'd be fine, but my house was on the line, so that's why no refunds until after the show. So there we are. Hi, Elaine. Elaine, if anybody wonders, she is the crack team who selects people for giveaways and stuff like that. So you're wondering, where am I with this bevy of books behind me? You don't know. Of course, I'm at Alex's house. Where else would I be? Come on. It's problems with my computer. I think it's my computer that's holding us back on the video. Let me shop. I got to cut off this video again because the internet's slowing. There we go. All righty then. So Elaine, she cannot be bribed. That's only to get more chocolates from America. She loves American chocolates. We can post the address if need be, but she can't be bribed. Only think she can. Let's see. Drive across America. We leave. I leave on the 3rd. I've got to run back to Iowa for a family reunion, and then we'll kick off on the 7th in Vegas. Michael and I will be at the Virgin. There's a restaurant in the Virgin, which it used to be the Hard Rock, I believe, in Vegas. It's now the Virgin. I'm staying there, and we'll do our author thing on the 7th, and then we drive to Utah, hitting Provo, then to Colorado Springs, Denver, Kansas City, Wichita, and Michael gets off the train in Kansas City. I go to Wichita. I go to Dallas, Fort Worth, pick up Martha Carr. We'll be in Fort Worth, actually South Lake, which is in the north. Love how that happens. So Elaine loves, especially dollar store chocolate. It's a passion for her. It's a guilty pleasure. Dollar store chocolate for Elaine from America. Fort Worth. Then we're whipping down to Houston, New Orleans, Memphis, Nashville. And Nashville, that's where Martha gets off the train and heads back home. And I'll continue on to Atlanta, Jacksonville, and then St. Petersburg, Florida, for an event on the 21st. The 22nd, we can check in for NINC. The 23rd, NINC starts. And there we go. Bob's your uncle. Bangers and mash, beanies, and weenies. And also the first Hooters ever is in St. Petersburg, Florida. So just in case you needed to know. No, I think it's Clearwater, actually. But it's all St. Petersburg, Clearwater. They're all one big metropolitan conflagration thing. I'm good with words when I can look at them on the screen and think about them. All right, 5-minute focus. I do want to start those back up soon, like tomorrow, if I can figure out what the hell's going on with my computer that I'm only getting a horrible throughput. And I wonder what's up with that. Maybe it's my firmware. I don't know. I'll have to break out the backup computer, shut everything off, and use that solely for 5-minute focus again, just like I used to before my other computer started working again. Anyway, maybe the newest update on Windows will save me from myself. We'll see. Because coming down here to Alex's, I mean, I always enjoy coming to Alex's house. His mom always feeds me, even though I'm 58. But still, and they have no cookies in the house right now, so I'm a little bit disappointed with that. But coming down here, it takes an hour out of my day, an extra hour on top of whatever time I'm on the video, and we try not to donate that kind of time. The 5-minute out of focus. I can't be held responsible for that. This is we're making it work. All right, making it work. Workarounds, because we're indies and we make stuff happen regardless of whether everything works like it's supposed to or not. So keeping the group going forward, absolutely going forward. If you know an answer, jump in there and answer somebody. Tell them what it's about. If somebody's asking a question that's been asked 100 times before, keep in mind the admins let it through for a reason, and that's probably because there might be some new information. So what would that new information be? Is it the same as the old information? Maybe it is. Maybe the search wasn't working that day, because the search has been problematic at best on Facebook lately. And unfortunately, that's the only place we are. But that's all volunteers, so we want to limit how much time we're doing. And shout out to the admins for carrying all the weight over the last 2 weeks, doing everything there was to do to fight off the evil demons that threatened to take down 20 books to 50K through denial of service attacks and overwhelming groups of people who have no business being in 20 books to 50K. All we can do is take our best guess whether they need to be there or not and let them in or not. And for those folks who do get in, act professional. The professional part is, once you get there, if you've never published a book before, stand back and listen, watch, learn. If you're going to ask a question, ask a very focused question. Try to avoid a basic question that the answer is already there. Go through the units. Sam Livey spent so much time making sure those units were put together and putting everything together. And it's 21 after at 10 minutes ago. Here's my contribution. This was an idea from Michael Anderle, and I agreed wholeheartedly. My successful indie author books, 4 of them, books 1, 2, 3, and 5, are now available perma-free. Go to BookFunnel, download them. That post should have hit. And admins, let's make sure that gets into the units. Download the books if you want to buy them off Amazon, great. I appreciate that, but they're no longer in Kindle Unlimited. And if you want to download them for free, go over to BookFunnel and download them, please. There's a lot of answers in there. They're all mostly up to date. The pricing strategies, I could add 2 more volumes to that. That's why I'm doing a presentation in Vegas on pricing strategy, because there's so much more information. And talking about gaps in Vegas, when we looked, we saw that there were only a couple wide presentations. And I apologize to everybody for that, because, hey, I'm almost exclusive to Amazon, even though I've moved a couple series wide. So we now have 6 or 7 different wide presentations by professionals. Monica Leonel, Mark Leslie Lefebvre, who spelled his own name wrong on the spine of his own book. But we're not going to mention that, because that might not be cool, Mark. But Mark is going to talk about his book, Wide for the Win, and what people need to take into account to make the most of being wide. You need to have a plan. Just like Amazon, hey, you just throw it up there. Nobody's going to see it. What's the plan to make sure it gets before the right eyeballs? People who might be interested in that book and then read it and want to buy the next book. Wide. Audio, we have 5 or 6 different audio presentations. We have a couple on Kickstarter. We have one on Patreon coming from RJ Blaine, who is, she makes enough on Patreon. She said she paid her mortgage last month with it. So this is, how do you keep your superfans engaged, and how do you improve your revenue streams? I have so many revenue streams, I can't even believe it. Who else is coming? Becca Syme. She's not on the schedule yet, but she's coming. We have, they're all coming. It's the place to be. So Vegas, this is what we're doing to help everybody And we're recording all the presentations. We bought $2,300 worth of computer equipment 2 days ago in order to make sure we captured everything that's presented in the highest resolution possible. So we've got ways to capture, I think, 6 or 7 rooms. We're asking for volunteers to use cell phones in the very small rooms, which those will be fine. You'll be able to hear, get our guest speakers to speak up, and we'll make sure that all of the presentations are recorded and all of the material is available to everybody, except Amazon's presentations. We're not recording those at their request. That's what we're doing. And we're going to keep doing it because people need that information. They had no place else to go when I started 5-6 years ago. No place else to go where you wouldn't get belittled for asking a basic question. On 20 books to 50K, I don't want to ever see anybody belittle somebody for a very basic question, because keep in mind, the admins let that through for a reason. So if you don't have anything nice to say about something, move on. That's why we don't do cover and blur reviews. We don't do any of that stuff on 20 books to 50K, because it's all opinion, it's all subjective. There are other groups for that focus specifically on that. Go there and let them help you. Write compelling? No, because I didn't publish that. That's been published. That was published by Wolfpack. So that one will not be, because I didn't publish it. When I publish it, hey, I have control. But Write Compelling Fiction is available in Kindle Unlimited. So come November, come to the show, go to the book signing, and get your free 2 months of Kindle Unlimited. And from there, you can download Write Compelling Fiction and read it to your heart's content. All right. The bring your phone stand. Facebook user. I don't know who that is, but yes, please do that, because that'll be the Palace rooms. Any presentations in the Palace rooms will need people to help out, and it'll be great. It'll all be great. Everybody wants to help. That's a way to reach a hand back. Hey, everybody in the virtual world, here's your opportunity to listen to this speaker who is awesome, because we don't have anybody who's not awesome speaking. It's amazing. All right. What else did I say I was going to talk about? Author priority. You have to do what's right for your business. Well, for me, my business, part of it is philanthropy. It's important to give back. It's important for me to give back, but I've given back. That's why I've written those books, to help answer questions. They're all available for free. All that work I put into them, all right, whatever. They're free. Go download them. There's the information, and let's move forward. Let's raise your level of professionalism. So if you're brand new to the game, you don't even have your first book finished yet, and you walk into a room full of CEOs, how can you carry on a conversation that matters for them, that matters for you, without you saying, hey, can you promote me? Because you're cool and I'm not. Be cool. And this is raise your game. I always say dress for the job you want. So you want to be a CEO? Act like one. Come in, dress the same way they are. And yeah, so no, we have our individuality, whatever. I wore a suit a lot of years, even though I was uncomfortable as hell, because that's what was expected. That's how you acted. And only later was I able to dress down, and it was okay because I already established myself. But when you're trying to establish yourself, there's certain things you don't want to go too far outside the boundaries on. So don't do that. Come in here, come into 20 books, 50K, act professional. So when we offer something, be professional about it. So, and oh, by the way, there aren't going to be any more self-promo posts. That was a debacle of magnanimous proportions. So no, people can't play by the rules. We're not going to do it. So that's how that works. I'm not going to set myself up for failure like that. We're never going to talk about the Oxford comma again for the same reasons. iPad, thank you, Melanie. Thank you, R.L. Calder. Great opportunities. Ira Heineken, my co-author in crime, he is in charge of the AV team. We're going to have like 12 sessions simultaneously. So Ira and Jamie Davis are stepping up to the plate. They've got a team. I think they've got 40-some volunteers already. So all of this. And this is to completely provide the people at home with video. A lot of virtual attendees have donated money. That's great. You've helped offset our costs. You put us in the black. And we've also paid $105,000 for professional recordings in the event center in gold and silver. So we're trying to put, and this was a sign up on Eventee for in-person attendees only at this point in time, because we want to see the most popular sessions that people are going to come to and put them in the biggest rooms, and they'll get recorded professionally. So this is what this is an important point for why you need to sign up on Eventee, as opposed to, well, I'll figure it out when I get there. You might decide you want to go to a session that other people said, hey, this is cool, and it's full, because we're turning people away once the chairs are full and there's a few people in the back, because we're not going to violate fire code by putting too many people in these rooms. So this is why sign up now. So we put people in the rooms that are important, the rooms that are sized appropriately for those sessions. The event center will hold 2,500. Gold and silver both hold 700 each. And then bronze, one of the bronze rooms is 255. And then they go down to like 175 and then 155. And then you go to palace rooms, and they're 40 to 60. So if we put a presentation in the palace room that fits 60 and 150 people sign up, no problem. We'll move it over to one of the bronze rooms, and a bronze room that didn't draw that kind of people, we put them over to the palace room. And now if everybody does a bait and switch on me and I'll try to show up in the palace room, sorry, only 40 or 50 people are getting in. And everybody else is on the outside looking in because you didn't sign up for the session, because all we can do is try to get the biggest sessions in the right places. So it is not rush on the hat. It is Area 51, baby. That's from when Michael and I stormed Area 51 2 years ago. Storming Area 51. Yeah, that was us. All right. So Eventee, if you are a virtual attendee, you're not going to get your Eventee invite until later in September, because we need to find those numbers first to move the rooms around and finalize the schedule. We've got, like I just said, we've got a bunch of sessions that we need to add. The 3 Amazon sessions, at least 1 Apple session, Becca Symes session. None of that is on the schedule right now. So understand, we're going to shoehorn some more things in there and do the best we can to make the most of our time in Vegas. So there's going to be there might be a session that has 3 people in the audience, but we're going to record it and you can watch it later. So these are if you're a presenter, don't get miffed because only 3 people showed up to your stuff. That's going to be a way. We're going to have a 700 person room with like 50 people. It's going to look almost empty, but you're being recorded for all posterior's sake, and people will watch you for years to come, because people are going back to 2017 presentations and watching those. So you're being recorded. Do the best you can with the team you've got. Why's my hat crooked? With the team you've got, and understand that it's going to be shared. You're going to get tens of thousands of views by the end of the day. Well, by the end of the decade, whatever it might be. Alrighty then. That was me going on a long diatribe, talking about stuff, driving the boat, trying to keep the boat moving forward to provide you the absolute best information you can get from some of the top professionals in the business. Mark Dawson, if you're listening, I need whatever your presentation will be. You're like the 4th draw behind me and Michael, behind me, and behind me and the high-powered author panel. You're number 4, Mark, behind me. Not that I would throw that gauntlet down, but just looking for that presentation, what that might be. And Todd McCaffrey, you too. Todd's going to give a great presentation. He has co-authored. He has written. He's a New York Times bestseller. He has written some huge books that have done very, very well. What are his secrets? What is he keeping from the world that he will share with you first time ever at 20 Books Vegas? So what is there? So the conference, yeah, go to one session and watch the other 11 over the rest of your life, however you want to. You don't have to, you can't go to all of them, but we're recording them just so you can get access to the information, because you don't want to be hamstrung. Imagine 3 sessions at the same time. you can only go to one. And if you don't get those other two sessions, you've signed up for a conference that you get 8 sessions a day, 24 total sessions when we're having over 150. That wouldn't be fair to you. So anyway, this is what we're doing. We're recording them, and you'll get to watch them at your convenience. So don't worry about doubling up. I'll just be walking around making sure that everything is going okay. We start on time, we end on time. So that schedule is sacrosanct. If it says we're starting at 11, we're starting at 11. Second and third days, I put half-hour breaks in between a lot of the sessions, just because walking around talking to people, catching somebody after they presented. I know John Truby has a small army of people around him after each of his sessions. He loves it, and he talks, and he will tell you everything he knows. It is great, and this is an opportunity that you wouldn't get otherwise. John doesn't really do a lot of shows, especially not like this. David Farland is coming, and Dave, I'm happy. He was kind of miffed that he was in the same time slot as John Truby. He's like, nobody's going to come to my stuff. Everybody's going to be over to John's. So David Farland, if you want to know his secrets and how he can recognize a book that's going to be huge, go see his session. Don't let him feel left out. So John and David are going to be at the same time. Mal Cooper, those are the three people who asked for hour-and-a-half slots. And Mal's going to be talking about finding and keeping your readers, which is one of the huge things. That's the biggest lesson I've learned over the last 2 years is you want your own readers, you want your own fans, and you want to hold them close. You want to hug them and call them George, because they are your foundation. That when you write a book, it's like, okay, I know I'm going to make 5,000. I know I'm going to make 10,000 on this book because of this. So I can do these other things like translate them into German. I am almost break even on my Operator, my Ian Bragg thriller series, from those German translations, because they continue to sell. I've got one ad in Germany, just one that I run, that's 200 euros a month and pulling me probably a 5-to-1 ROI in Germany. So I'm happy with that, because it's month in, month out now. It's been 3 months straight where I've consistently actually increased a little bit on sales without changing anything. So way good, happy to see that, and it's paying for itself. So almost earned out on all of that, and we'll be in the gravy here on The Operator and the subsequent books in that series. I'm working on the 4th book right now. That's the last book I have due this year. And if I get it done before we start the drive across America, I have no pressure. I have nothing hanging over my head, just a couple editing jobs to do. Tommy D, he passed away a couple years ago. His 6th book in his series, I've got to edit that. I'm 100 pages into a 300-page book on a rewrite. It's more than an edit, on a rewrite, and then we'll move forward and get that published and get his widow some more money. We published book 5 a few months ago, after I rewrote that, and it's doing really well, enough that, hey, it's providing a good revenue for her again after a couple years hiatus. Those kinds of things that you do because you have to do them, because they're the right things to do. So September, on the drive across America, I do want to finish the rewrite of that book, but there's no pressure hanging over me. We'll get it when we get it. I'd like to get it done by the end of September, and I have no doubt that I will. And then I'll start a new book, but I have no commitments beyond Ian Bragg 4. How about that, huh? Finish all those commitments for the whole year in August, maybe even the beginning of September. Let's see, what else do we have? What time is it? Oh, 11:38. Been on for, 40 minutes? It's been good. We've got tickets to Jungle Cruise today. Going to go see that in the theater, in the big screen. What else? Oh, somebody, yeah, RL, you got a partial Monty. A lot of good people donated some things. We've got a few extra donations of conference fees. So we will run another giveaway in a week or two on on conference fees for people where, yes, you would crawl through broken glass to get here, and if you had your conference fee paid for. Cool. We'll give a few of those away for people who will come to the conference. Don't just say you want to come and get the conference fee and then you still can't come. Don't do that. Make sure somebody can come. We'll give them the chance. So we've got, I think, 3 right now, 3 conference fees to share with folks, and we'll do that giveaway. Stanley, do dog. That's why I am down to 190 pounds. So down 17 pounds on the year. Thank goodness. Because of the dog. Yesterday it was like 3.5 miles we walked. My legs were tired by the time we got done because Stanley kept wanting to go outside, and the weather was great. He enjoyed it, doing some exploring. And we have 12 acres of woods that we can walk in. That's all ours. It makes it really nice. It's like having your own nature park. And so Stanley enjoys going in there. Take care of your health. It's important. Mental health. Understand and align your priorities with your business and how you commit your time. I think this is one of the things that I was committing too much time to questions that had already been answered so many times, and doing things that, hey, just read my book. Here, books are free now. They're perma-free. Do whatever you need to do about your business, focusing. So I need to make sure that I spend my 4 hours of writing every day to make sure I get my 3,000 to 4,000 words, and keep that train rolling, because that provides the money by which I can do everything else. And building that readership extra couple hours to make sure I engage with my readership in a way that matters to them. Matters to me is irrelevant. Matters to them is what keeps them on board, keeps them coming back, sharing chapters. Lawrence asked a question about how is Hello Books doing. Hello Books continues to grow. I think we're tens of thousands of subscribers in almost every genre. So climbing towards that million subscribers by the end of the year total. 100,000. I don't see any problem having 100,000 subscribers in primary genres like thrillers, like science fiction, like urban fantasy, the big hitters of promotional news lists, those ones. So going well. I saw that your book was in there today, Lawrence. Congratulations in the science fiction list. I believe I get all of them, so I see lots of books, but yours was there. The price is still right. That will inevitably go up, and fairly soon. However, I don't know how soon. It is being managed well. Just understand that. Eventually, you'll be able to pick a date as well for promoting your stuff, and this is something that we know is important to you, because you want to wrap promotions, you want to stack promotions, you want to get the biggest bang for your buck during a promotional period, and not get, here's 10 days notice, try to get all the promotions you can, because you generally can't get a whole lot of other ones. You might be able to range a few shares, but that's different than stacking a free Booksy with an e-reader IQ, with a Robin Reads, with a BookBub, with all of these things together. So working towards that. Right now, we're doing the best we can. There's a lot of requests because the price is so good, and people are getting a really good return with a quality book, a great cover, and a great blurb. Just understand, it still comes back to you. We can put it in front of people with the Hello Books newsletter, but will the reader pick it up? That's the cover. Is it enticing enough for them to click through and read the blurb? And the blurb should entice them. Hey, okay, I can pick this. 99 cents. Yeah, I'll pick it up. Sounds cool. All right. So how's it going? Going well. We're on track with everything. I think we're on track with should approach 1 million total subscribers by the end of the year. So I'd call that pretty good. Well, thank you everybody for listening in. Appreciate that. Had 50 to 60 people watching for the duration on both Facebook and YouTube. Hopefully the recording was good enough and didn't break up in too many places. So you heard what we had to say. 20 books to 50K going strong, 52,500 members. Be a professional at all times. Come in and act professional. I don't care if you haven't written a book before. You have the potential to write a book. Everybody does. Very few people get to the end of that first book, though. They say they want to write a book, write it. And that would be my main advice if you're coming in and say, hey, I want to write a book. What do I do? Write the book. Worry about that other stuff later. Don't worry about anything until after you've written the book, because it'll be easy to get distracted. It'll be easy to get dissuaded. You'll try to gain some, hey, I want to build a newsletter. You don't have a book. You don't have anything written. People sign up for your newsletter. So write the book first, and then look at what's next. What about editing? What about rewriting? What about all of this other stuff that you have to think about? Write the book first and then move from there. And all of this advice is already in 20 books to 50K. You can get there, check the units, look through them, look through those grand posts with the hundreds of comments on stuff to help you better refine. Here's how I want to shape my business. There you go. And it's your business. You're responsible for your own success. And we will cheer with you as you keep climbing that mountain of success. All right, everybody. Peace, fellow humans.